with the guy who continues to be at or near the top of the NFL news stack. Tim Tebow and the Jaguars doing their best to knock him down. But, he continues to bubble up. Something that I reported yesterday morning, and credit to Trey Wingo during the draft, not during the draft, but the first day of the draft when there was the avalanche of Aaron Rodgers reporting, he had pointed out that Rodgers believed that the Packers at one point in the offseason had told him, Myles, that they would trade Aaron Rodgers, and then they reversed course. I've continued to hear that. Now, the Packers regard that as unequivocally false, and from the Packers' perspective, their attitude is, we're not really aware that's an issue. And you'd like to think that if you got a guy who believes he'd been told he was going to be traded, and then the rug gets pulled out from under him when we don't trade him, and we say we're not going to trade him, you'd think that at some point someone would say to us, but you said you were going to trade him. But even with that, the sense, the story, the notion, the rumor, whatever label you want to apply, it continues to ricochet around the NFL. So there's something there that hasn't been fully knocked down, that Rodgers believes something was said to make him think they were going to trade him, which made him even more upset when they didn't, especially when there was an offer on the table from the 49ers that the Packers rejected a night before the draft. And pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. There was a real offer made. This wasn't a, hey, you don't want to trade Aaron Rodgers, do you? No, what the hell are you talking about? Okay, bye, have a good draft. It was much more than that. Rodgers wanted to go to San Francisco, and the Packers shut it down, Myles.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Like, it seems like there is a there between Aaron Rodgers and the Packers and whatever it is that made him so mad, that caused this schism, this fissure to be in the relationship. And whether that started with Jordan Love getting drafted, or it started in this offseason where, after Aaron Rodgers plays really well, he performs like an MVP, and they know that they still have a guy in Jordan Love that is eventually going to be the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, then they have to say, all right, well, we are going to do something to remedy this situation, to make it better. And I guess that's the impression that Aaron Rodgers got, was that I'm going to be traded and that's going to be the remedy to the situation. But how would that make any sense? Why would Green Bay decide, oh yeah, we're actually going to trade you, reigning MVP? That's something that makes a lot of sense from our standpoint when we've got you under contractual control for the next couple of years. Logically, I can say, okay, Aaron Rodgers might have believed that he would be traded, but why would he think that that would actually be something that would happen?
And you just wonder whether or not at the core of this, there's some sort of screwy madcap sitcom premise where a big crazy misunderstanding happens and you spend the rest of the 22 minutes trying to resolve it, only to have some lightning bolt instant that wraps it all up so they can end the show and move on to the next one that begins at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday night. That's what it feels like to me, that somebody said something that caused someone to think something that just kind of festered because the communication and the entire relationship has been so dysfunctional. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Rodgers genuinely believed or heard what he wanted to hear and processed it the way he wanted to process it because of his perspective. And from the Packers' perspective, they're like, what the hell are you talking about? Of course we were never going to trade you. Why did you think that we were ever going to entertain that possibility? So, look, it's just another piece of a puzzle that creates a picture that we don't know what the hell it is. The pieces are coming together, and we don't know what the hell it is. And to add to our collection of pieces that we don't know what the hell they are, Aaron Jones, Packers running back, appeared with Rich Eisen yesterday on the topic of, ultimately and inevitably, the status of quarterback Aaron Rodgers. Here's Aaron Jones talking about his quarterback.
Sitting back, I see what everybody else sees. I haven't heard from Aaron or anybody, so I'm going to wait till I get up to Green Bay and see for myself, or hear it from him myself. It's just, I don't get caught up in reading articles and things like that. I'll just wait until it plays out and control what I can control.
What's your sense? Do you think week one, when you're in New Orleans, you're going to be grabbing a ball from 12?
That's my quarterback. That's our quarterback. So I would hope so. like I said, I hope he's our quarterback. Hope he's there week 1, handing it off, and it all works out.
Aaron Jones deliberately choosing not to find anything out, not to determine where this is all going, not speaking to Rodgers, not seeking out information, just kind of going with the flow. Look, he got his contract, and he's getting a decent amount of money. He probably got more from the Packers than he would have gotten on the open market. One of the reasons why he did that deal before he went to the open market. He had exhausted, I believe, given the way these things are done, exhausted all opportunities elsewhere before deciding to stay with the Green Bay Packers and take their 8-figure per year offer. So, he's in the honeymoon phase of renewing his vows with the Green Bay Packers. And this is my broader concern, Myles. If you're Aaron Jones, if you're DeVante Adams, if you're any other player on that team, there will be a point where being asked these questions over and over again will become tiresome. And it just underscores the fact that at some point Aaron Rodgers does need to say something. My new friend John Kuhn, apparently yesterday, making the argument that Aaron Rodgers owes us nothing by way of an explanation. Well, you know what? If all of his current and former teammates are going to have to do the talking on his behalf, at some point he owes it to them to eliminate this mess that they have to deal with, because Aaron refuses to talk, and they're all out there talking, and they're the ones that have to deal with all the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Look. That's so funny.
I'm one week closer to having John Kuhn's trunk searched.
Yeah, no doubt. See, I will find you. That's really interesting, John Kuhn.
Hey, Myles, let me say something. Myles, let me say something. Somebody responded to that by saying, gee, who's this guy think he is? Somebody's actually looking for him. Hit says, I will find you with an exclamation point. How else am I supposed to interpret that?
I don't know. I have no idea how you should interpret that other than by interpreting what it says. John Kuhn thinks the same thing about you that Aaron Rodgers does, apparently, man. But he's gone a step further, because all Aaron Rodgers says is don't read that crap from Mike Florio. John Kuhn wants to find you.
That's his first mistake.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess so. Look, I think that you're right, that there's definitely going to be a point where it's just not fair for guys like Aaron Jones and DeVante Adams to have to go on the radio in their media appearances and just have to answer questions about Aaron Rodgers, because that's the only topic that matters about the Packers right now. It does not matter that, it's very nice that Aaron Jones has 13 million guaranteed reasons to be okay with what's going on there right now because he just got his. But if you're somebody like DeVante Adams, you'd probably rather be thinking about, hey, man, how are we going to not just get back to the NFC Championship game, but actually reach the Super Bowl this year? And if all you have to do is just answer questions about your quarterback, who is still the reigning MVP, that's gonna wear on you at a certain point. Now, I don't know if that's now because these guys aren't doing regular media. OTAs are gonna start soon, and then there's probably still gonna be some sort of Zoom press conferences, and that means that guys can get shielded in some certain ways. But look, until Aaron Rodgers starts speaking for himself, it's really kind of not fair to those guys who have to speak for him, who are not the I'm retired and I'm a surrogate and I will find you Mike Florio types of people who are, making their money basically off of the media now.
I saw a clip from whatever show it is that John Kuhn does yesterday, and he just doesn't seem to understand the very basic chain of logic that is running through this. He speaks to Aaron Rodgers, and then he speaks publicly about his beliefs regarding the things that Aaron Rodgers wants or will do, or that this is fixable. And if Aaron Rodgers continues to speak to him after he does those things, he's clearly being used by Rodgers to get the word out. Because if Rodgers wasn't happy with the things he was saying, he would no longer talk to him. He would no longer tell him things. He would text him or call him and say, John, listen, these things you and I are talking about, they're meant for private consumption. One of Kuhn's arguments is, I'm not out there seeking to be on these shows. Well, so what? So what? You're still agreeing to do it, and you're still agreeing to talk about it. I speak to Aaron Rodgers, and this is what I think he wants. And again, there's a chance that Kuhn is one of various pawns on the chessboard that Aaron Rodgers is manipulating, and Kuhn is slowly in the process of coming to the realization that that's the case. So, regardless, John. Hey, and John, anytime you want to talk about it, I'm easy to find. I'm very easy to find, and I'll be even easier to find if I'm dead in the trunk of your car. Okay, let's move on that happy note.
1 week closer to death.
1 week closer to death, baby, and 1 week closer to getting resolution, more importantly, of the Aaron Rodgers situation. Because, look, Myles, OTAs, he's either going to be there or he's not. Mandatory minicamp, he's either going to be there or he's not. Training camp, he's going to be there or he's not. And in between that, annual shareholder meeting, which could be very interesting if Aaron Rodgers is poised to hold out. I still think he's going to show up. I think comments by guys like Kuhn and James Jones are intended to lay the foundation so Aaron can show up and say, what's a big deal? What's a big deal? And maybe one last-ditch effort to get him the contract that he's looking for that would tie the Packers to him for multiple years, making the Jordan Love presence moot and irrelevant and potentially put him on the trade block.
Well, Mike, when is your drop-dead time of when there's either going to be some sort of resolution to this, whether it's Aaron Rodgers' new contract, Aaron Rodgers gets traded, or maybe Jordan Love gets traded?
I think that the start of training camp, because I think that's when the Packers fans go to DEFCON 1. If he's not there for mandatory minicamp, they probably get to DEFCON 2. But if he is not there at the beginning of official training camp with the bicycles and the cheeseheads and just, it's love and family and football all together, and I'm not saying that sarcastically, it's a special time. It is. If he gives a middle finger to the organization and indirectly to the fans and doesn't show up for that, that's when I think it's go time. And I think that if they're going to get anything fixed, they need to do it by the start of training camp. And we'll see. And look, the Packers may continue to say, we're not doing a damn thing. You're not getting a new contract. You're not getting it. You've already gotten a lot of money from us under this contract. You're a big boy. You're smart. You went to Cal. You know what this contract meant when you signed it. And you knew that when we got to the out years, we're the ones who hold the cards, not you. So if you don't want to play, don't play. We'll take our $30 million back that you owe us, and we'll move forward. We'll spend that money on other players. So I think by the start of training camp, we'll get a final resolution, and I think he'll be there, and he'll remind people not to read the crap that I write.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.